Well, welcome to the local community council general meeting for October 2025. It's nice to see everybody that's here. Just a reminder, you came in, you're in person to sign in so that we can keep track of attendance. Are there any newcomers? Anybody that hasn't been here before? Let's begin by doing introductions, and we'll introduce the board just to make sure that everybody knows who we are. My name is Valerie Chapman. I'm the chair, and I live on Evergreen Street, just a block away from the trolley trail.
And I'm Mark Elliott, and I live off of Concord Road in South.
I'm Daniel Blair Reedside, and I live off of Park Avenue up by the bank station.
I would say that Mark is the vice
chair,
and Daniel is the treasurer, and
Joyce Johnson, the secretary, and I live near Putnam on Board Street.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is Ben Cheney. I live on Breeze near the Mass.
And is Wayne here?
Is Wayne here? See a question? No. Don't see him right now.
So he would be our other officer who's here. Okay, so let's go around of the room. There.
I'm Brian, I live on Evergreen on 25th.
Jim Freed on Sarah Lane by Trolley Trail.
Michael Freed on Sarah Lane with the big scary clown garage door at the moment.
I'm Amanda Trujillo. I'm on Linden Lane, just south of Oak Grove Boulevard.
Susan Keel on Oak Shore Lane.
Bob Lynn, and I live on Lori up by Russell.
I'm Vanessa Danes Legal. I live off of Southeast Hill Road on Wild Rose Court.
Jane Civility, I live on Fair Oaks Ave.
Hi, I'm Catherine McCullen, and I live in West Lynn, and I serve all of Clackamas County, Usher County Clerk.
Okay, so we have people that are here with us online to give us their name. Cindy, do you want to start?
I'm Cindy Brown. I live at Rosevilla.
And Tom?
Tom Hogan, and we're on Oakfield Road between Thiessen and Concord. The house with a lamppost.
Okay. Pam?
She's trying. It's not working.
Pam?
Yes, sorry. I'm Pam Horan. I'm at Rosevilla. Thank you.
Okay. Baldwin?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm having technical difficulties. I'm Baldwin Vanderbilt, and I live on Neff Road.
Okay. Linda?
Linda Seals, and I live on Woodland Way at the end, south of Oak Grove.
Okay. Well, Caroline, so can't see the Caroline, you're muted.
I'm mute. Yes.
Carolyn, do you know how to unmute yourself?
Are you speaking to me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. I'm Carolyn Stuckey. I live on Chestnut Street, which is closest to Oak Grove.
And is it Carol or Farrell? Can't read.
Yes, I don't know. That's my email address, but that's not my name. My name is Marianne Braun, and I'm considering living at Rosevilla, so I just thought I'd poke my head in and see what's going on.
Okay, well, we're glad to have you this evening. And Marilyn?
I'm Marilyn Wall, and I live on Aldercrest.
And Dave?
Dave Doback, I live at Rosevilla.
Sue?
Sue Cunningham, Parkview Circle.
And Rich. Rich, are you with us? Well, we know Rich needs on. so-
Okay, finally it unmuted. Did it unmute?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. You won't unmute.
All right, well, thank you. Well, welcome everyone that is here this evening. We'll begin with some officer reports. Dan, you want to give us a treasurer report?
Yeah, since last we met, we had a reimbursement, in the amount of $88.92 to Ben. Thank you for the, break certificates from the, People's Choice of Oak Grove, at the Oak Grove Festival. And that leaves us with a current balance of $16.66 and 50 cents.
Joyce, do you have a?
Oh, just a reminder to please sign in, and people online, if you put your last name when you sign in, that's very helpful. It also is helpful if you can put your address and your email if you wish. We need the address, we don't necessarily need the email, but it will be helpful in the comments. So
In the chat.
sign in the chat. Thank
Yeah, we put those in the chat if you're new. Great.
Oh, even if you're old. I mean, it would be nice for an update because I think people have.
If you're a returning member.
Yeah, no, it's not old, okay.
Can I ask a question for have we received the $250 that we received from the county? Have we gotten that this year from them?
Those are quarterly reimbursements, so we can do one for next quarter, because I think we are close or near that amount, domain hosting and other things.
Okay.
So next quarter, we should be able to file one of those. While we're on treasury matters also, if anyone wants to donate to the Oak Grove Community Council, that can be done either with cash or, I was.
Pass around the plate.
Yeah, pass it around, and also the friends, of course, friends of Oak Grove Community Council is also great.
Separate organization.
Yep, but personal recommendation only, not.
Got it.
All right. The minutes went out with the agenda. If you pick up an agenda on the table, the minutes are on that. Are there any corrections, additions, subtractions? Comments, no, not making on the minutes. In particular, we look at, we want to make sure the attendance is clear, you're here, and that you're on the list. We keep track. If there are no additions or corrections, then it's in as sent out and printed tonight. Well, we're very pleased tonight to have Catherine McMullen, who is the Clackamas County Clerk, with us. She served as a public servant in public service all of her career as a public librarian and since 2015 as an election administrator. She's been the county clerk, elected county clerk since 2023. And she's got an impressive list of things that she's done. She's an active member of the Partnership for Large Election Jurisdictions, the Oregon Association of County Clerks. And she's recognized as a certified county clerk, so CCC. She has an executive master's in public administration from Fulton State University, Hatfield School of Government. And she lives in Westland with her family, and she's part of the Westland Alliance for Inclusion and is focused on equity and inclusion in both her personal and professional life. She also likes to grow food, yes, and read books, and is always hopeful about doing more of both. I recommend retirement for So Calvin, with that, welcome for being here at our meeting. And I want to remind people if online to meet yourself, but raise your hand if you have a question, we'll keep track of that.
Great, thank you. My name is Catherine McMullen. I'm the county clerk for Clackamas County. And I want to make sure everyone can hear and see me both in person and online. And then I also thought that as I did the presentation, you all could raise your hand and let me, if you have questions, and we can take questions as we go. Because I find questions are the most interesting. So feel free, both online and in person, and we'll work on it that way. So I've been county clerk since January of 2023. I guess I just have to say slide, right? Okay. And so I start with the mission statement for the office of the clerk. We have 3 major divisions in our office, and I oversee 21 staff. And our goal is to build good trust through good government and responsive government. So we want to encourage equitable and inclusive access to local government services. Through some of the major things that we do, which is conducting accurate and transparent elections, empowering every voice, recording real property transactions, issuing marriage licenses, officiating weddings, and preserving the public record. So as the county clerk and the department director for elections reporting and records management, so you can go to the next slide. Our budget for the last presidential cycle for all 3 divisions was just over $6 million. So that was fiscal year 24-25. And 60% of that was self-funded. And so what that means is that we funded the work that we need to do in elections recording and records management through fees from reporting, through fees for marriage licenses, wedding officiation, and also through charging special districts for them. The other 40% was funded through the county general fund. So general fund dollars that is throughout the whole county. I have 20 permanent staff, and then we have 100 to 150 temporary election workers that come on to support our larger elections. So some of you may have been to my office before and you've watched the process. The election worker actually processing ballots. You could even become an election worker yourself. We do plan on hiring temporary election workers again between the May and the November elections next year. Do you want to go to the next one? So, in record management, we keep the public records, so keep the county records. And that's an internal facing department that supports all the other departments in the county for responding to public records requests, retaining those public records, and then most importantly, then destroying them once the retention period has been met. We also issue, we don't issue passports, we accept passport applications for the passport acceptance facilities, part of the US Department of State. So if you need to get a passport, you can either make an appointment with records management, or you can walk in on Wednesdays to do an appointment. And we can also help you if you have questions about a renewal that you may be able to do online from now. We have staff that can help with that. You want to go to the next slide? Thanks. The second division is recording. So we record all real property transactions. So if you buy or sell your home, for example, that transaction is recorded at the county clerk's office. It's often the last thing that happens when you're closing to buy a home. It's recorded record. And also when folks do a title search on a piece of property, they'll be going to our office. No, that's fine. So yeah, so back to recording, and then we issue marriage licenses and process domestic partnerships. And then we also have wedding Fridays. So starting in June 2023, I began officiating weddings for folks, and I've officiated now more than 300 weddings. And I have discovered that that is one of the most enjoyable parts of my role as a county clerk. It's something in statute that says I may officiate weddings if I wish. So every Friday afternoon, I do up to 4. We've done weddings in multiple languages. My first wedding, the assistance of an ASL interpreter. So I started to learn how American Sign Language kind of feels and what the pacing is. I realized that I hadn't done a lot that language, and so it was good to learn that and good to experience that. We have 4 weddings scheduled this Friday, and I enjoy weddings because unlike elections, everyone wins.
Fantastic, all right.
Yeah. If you want to appeal the value of your property, you can do that through the Property Value Appeals Board. And that's a board that's run out of the clerk's office. That way it's a separate board and separate from the department that then decides what your taxes are. That appeal board sits within the clerk's office. Let's see.
I think you should have slide.
Did they lose?
They should still have the slides.
When that goes up, are they losing connectivity with us as well?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going in and out, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Typical, it's on here.
And so for elections, which is the part that most folks know about, so my office conducts all federal, state, and local elections for everyone that lives in Clackamas County. We maintain voter registration data, so when you update your voter registration with us, we maintain that. If you move, you can cancel your voter registration, or we can find out when we get that change of address from the post office. And so we maintain 26 official ballot drop sites, and we have 2 voter service centers that we have open during each election. So we have, if you need a replacement ballot, you want to vote in person, your dog ate your ballot, you can come to us and get a replacement in Oregon City at our main office. Or we also have a location that's open as a pop-up vote center that's at the Happy Valley Library, and that's open the 2 weeks before each election day. We've now done that for 3 elections, so a year, and it's been really popular. About 25% of our foot traffic comes to the Happy Valley Library Community Center, where we have our staff there to get, vote in person, get a replacement ballot, and that same experience that you get in our main office, but not having to come all the way into Oregon City. And then we do have those 26 official ballot drop sites. We have what I would call our newest drop site, which is near here. Does anyone know where that might be?
All right.
Community Center?
Yeah, the Oak Lodge Library and Concord Community Center. We moved the drop site from the Oak Lodge Library to the new Oak Lodge Library, and it's placed. I recognize a few of you were at the grand opening on Saturday for the library. That was a lot of fun. I think there were like 900 people there. So really guys.
200.
200, well.
2200.
Oh, 2,200.
Really?
Yeah, and so I put balloons on it so people could see it while they were visiting, but it's a drive-up location, so you can drive and, left side, deposit your ballot from the driver's side. We just ask that you be careful because it is an active parking lot as well, and then our busy elections, we're gonna have more traffic control. But I'm glad to see that place there and very much in the community center where it's gonna be active and used. So those drop sites do help make sure that everyone can access the vote and can vote. We do have, if you go to the next slide, sorry, I keep forgetting, oh yeah, there we go. We do have a special election happening right now, likely not for anyone in this room or on Zoom with us. It is only for 7 measures or 7 jurisdictions within the county. We have 1 open position in the city of Gladstone, which is an unexpired term, so we have resignation. Ironically, only 1 candidate filed for this 1 position, so I have to say this is likely the first 1 position, 1 candidate election that I've conducted in 10 years of conducting elections. And then there's these other measures, and about 40% of voters are getting have gotten a ballot, have an election. We're expecting only about 30,000 ballots to come back, though. That's only about a 25% turnout. Unfortunately, special elections and special district elections have lower turnout than our state and federal elections, which have a higher profile. I'm gonna go to the next slide. So this is our 2 voter services locations that I talked about. This is us in the Happy Valley Vote Center. It's in the new community room at the library, and it's really a beautiful spot. Feel free to check it out. You want to go to the next slide for me? Has anyone here signed up for Track Your Ballot? Great. So Track Your Ballot is a service that you can sign up for. You'll get a text, an email, or a recorded voice message that says that your ballot's in the mail on its way to you. So then you know that you're gonna need to check your mail. You can pair that with informed delivery from the USPS, and you know exactly what day to check your mail to get that image of your ballot coming to your mail that day. And then whenever you return your voted ballot back through the mail or to an official ballot drop site, you get another notification saying that we've received your ballot. And then you'll get a third notification that says we've verified your signature and accepted it for counting. This is a good way so that folks know that their ballot has been received and safely made its way back to our office. And you can sign up with the QR code there or go to our website at any time to sign up. Go to the next slide for me. We can go to the next slide. We talked about drop sites. Okay, so there's a lot of talk about election integrity and what that means. And for us in my office, this is what we mean when we talk about election integrity. First, that every eligible voter has the resources that they need to vote easily and hassle-free. So we do that with voter registration. And then we also do that with our official ballot drop sites, the Track Your Ballot, assistance for voters with disabilities, our vote centers, making sure that that experience is hassle-free and that you are able to vote in every election that you're eligible to vote in. Our elections are safe and secure, and they're unbiased, clear, and error-free. And then finally, our election processes and results are timely, accurate, and trusted. One of the ways that we do that is we are open to the public anytime that we are processing ballots. So you can come to our office in Oregon City. There's a ballot processing area. There's actually an observer area. It's very much a transparency corridor where you can see the ballots from when they come in from the post office and the drop sites all the way until they're processed, tallied, and then stored. If you want to go to the next slide. I encourage you to check us out while we're working. This election is a little bit quiet. We've got about 10,000 ballots that have come back so far. We expect our busiest day is going to be on Friday, on Halloween, so next Friday. We're going to be moving ballots all the way through the process from receiving to verifying signatures to opening and then scanning them. And so I wanted to go over the path of the ballot. This is Bob and Deb. The mail from the drop sites every day. And then those ballots are brought back into the office and they're faced and the ballots are brought back into the office and faced so that the signatures are all facing the same way. And then we run them through the mail ballot sorter. If you want to go to the next slide for me. You can see an image of the mail ballot sorter there. We actually replaced our mail ballot sorter at the beginning of this year, and we've run our May special district election with our new sorter, and the speed is much better, and also the data exchange is so much better. And so now we can have a daily report, and then that Track Your Ballot message goes out that much sooner. So whenever the ballots are run through this sorter, it takes an image of the signature sign, so where you sign saying that you voted your ballot, and then we verify that your signature matches your signature on your voter registration record. We verify 100% of those signatures, so every single ballot, we verify that the person signing the ballot is the person that voted, that ballot was meant for, and that their signature matches their signature on record.
Is that signature verification done manually?
It is, yeah. So we work with some automatic signature verification software, the same software that the bank uses to look for fraud and checks. And we do 100% match on those, and that's probably captures about 30 to 40% or 100% match. And then election workers who are trained by the Secretary of State's offices look at the rest of the signatures. And if a signature does not match or you forgot to sign, that is reviewed then by senior staff. And then they decide whether or not it needs to be challenged. And so if you forgot to sign, your ballot is challenged. You're notified either through that track your ballot service, or you're sent a letter. Well, you're sent a letter no matter what, but the track your ballot service is sooner. And then you get a chance to cure that ballot. So a chance to either bring in your signature or fill out the form that's mailed to you, and that way they can count your vote. And you have up until 21 days after election day. If you didn't sign or the signature doesn't match, to cure that so we can count your vote. Do you want me to go to the next slide for me? And so once the signatures have been verified, they go into green trays, and then the bottom of the envelope is milled open. And then we have board workers here who open the ballots and get them ready to be scanned. So everyone at the table, again, is wearing a lanyard with a color indicating their political party. These are all election workers that have had background checks, were interviewed, had training, and then they work together as teams to open different batches of ballots and get them ready to be scanned. At this point, no one's counting any votes. They're just checking to make sure that there's not food on them, there are big tears, things that would keep them from going through the machines. And the envelopes are separated from the ballots, and at that point, we don't know how anyone is voting, because intentionally the envelopes are separate from the ballots, so we're not counting the votes while knowing whose ballot was whose, if that makes sense. One of the things that we've done over the last 2 years is we received a grant from the US Election Assistance Commission, specifically to hire college students to be election workers. And so we've hired about 20 college students over the last 2 years that have worked at least one election. And so we've been able to have some multi-generational exchanges, introducing college students to what it means to be a part of the democratic process, what it means to work in local government. So, introduce that as a potential career path. We've also hired high school students, 16 years and older, to provide help as well. So even before you're eligible to vote, you can get registered to vote, you can help conduct the election, and then once you turn 18, you can get that first ballot. Yes.
So just a question, you said they separate out the ones that might have food on them or something. So then do those get hand counted?
So those would be set aside if they're not gonna move through the machine for duplication. And so through that process, you take the original ballot, you have a copy of the ballot, and then you work again with 2 election workers from 2 different parties to duplicate that ballot onto a machine readable ballot.
Okay.
And that's where the ballots to duplicate there on the screen is, and it's usually like maybe 1 or 2 for every 200 or so. It just depends how many people were eating while they were voting. And then we go to ballot scanning. So the ballots have been removed from the envelopes. We have a separate room. You really should all come visit so you can see this more in action, but a separate room that's enclosed that is limited to the number of staff that can be in there. Like you only have access to that space if you're doing work in that space. And then the ballots are actually scanned through the scanners, and there's 6 different scanning stations. None of the computers in that room are attached to the internet. And so they're scanned through, and then there's a separate count on each of the machines, and then that goes to our central count where everything is tallied together for election night reporting. So only at this point are we actually tabulating the vote. If a ballot does not scan, it might have to be sent back to be duplicated, try to smooth it out, but we're making sure that every ballot is scanned and part of that batch. So you can see here, the green lanyard, he has a batch of ballots, the cover sheet is that purple one, and he's scanning the whole batch and then closing the batch and then moving on to the next one, and then we track all of that. sometimes if you go to the next slide, we have to do what's called ballot adjudication. And ballot adjudication is when someone may have marked more than one choice on a ballot, or may not have marked heavily on one, and it may look like a partial vote. It's when the machine does not know, what the voter intent was. So when someone might choose someone and then cross it out and say, no, I want this person, the machine will see that there's marks in both of those bubbles, but won't understand the voter intent. So ballot adjudication is when two election workers, then different parties, of course, will determine voter intent. So that's called an overvote. An undervote is when there's fewer votes selected. So if you leave something blank, that's an undervote, and so then that's not counted. If it says vote for 3 and you only vote for 1, that's also an undervote, but we would count that one vote, but then not any of the other 2, because you didn't choose 2 other people. And then a write-in is when a voter writes in a candidate, when they don't want any of the candidates that have filed for office. The most common write-in, which is a question I get often, is people write their own name. I'm not sure if it's because they want to run for office or because they want to put their name on their ballot, but I always encourage folks who want to run for office to file for office. It's very infrequent that anyone who hasn't filed wins in a write-in contest. Okay, and then we go to results reporting and certification. So at 8 o'clock on election night, we release results. And then we release them up to 2 more times during that evening, and then we'll release them on a regular basis until certification. So the certification date for this special election is going to be December 1st. That's 28 days after election day. That gives the voters a chance to cure any challenged ballots. It allows any ballots to come back that were voted timely, postmarked on or before election day, and they have up to 7 days to come back to us so that we can count them. It also allows for the curing, anything else like that. And then we certify. And we certify to the districts, and then this is the results, and then they accept those results, then we move forward. We do sometimes have recounts. If the results are so close at 1/5 of 1%, then it's an automatic recount. In the fall of 24, we had 2 city council races that were that close, so we had 2 recounts that we did after the presidential election. I have not seen a recount yet change the outcome of an election. Occasionally there'll be 1 vote that goes into an undervote, or a vote that goes to an overvote, or 1 vote difference, but has not changed the outcome of the election yet. You want to go to the next slide? Does anyone have any questions about the process? I do invite you to come watch us work, please. Yes.
For the ballots, do they have a barcode and something that makes them distinct from another one?
We have barcodes that tell the machine like what precinct it is or what ballot cell it is, like what's on it, but not something that makes it necessarily completely distinct. Like there's nothing on it that says what the voter's information is. The barcode that's on the outside of the envelope, which is what we scan when we go through the mail ballot sorter, that actually has the voter's information, so that we can then pull up the voter registration information and compare that signature.
And that way you know whether they voted, and you also provide that information to the public, right? They voted.
Yeah, so voted, not voted. Also, if you lose your ballot and you request a replacement, your first ballot is made inactive and your second ballot is the active one. Let's say things get complicated and you find your first ballot and vote that one, but not your second. We wait until after election day to make sure you didn't vote your second, because we only count 1 ballot. And so that is one of the ways also that we know that. Yes.
So how do we purge the records for deaths and so on?
Yeah, so we get a death list from Oregon Health Authority. We also we look at the obituaries and do that, and then we also get notifications from family members as well.
So it's not perfect.
It's as perfect as the information that we get. If we issue a ballot to someone who has passed away, we generally will get a phone call from that family member. And we ask them to write deceased on it and put it back in the mail, and then we can make that voter inactive. If someone were to vote a ballot that's not for them, then their signature would not match, and then we do not count that ballot. Yes.
For someone who like forgot to sign their envelope or there's something wrong with the signature or whatnot, if the ballot itself is anonymized, how do you then know to, like, if they come and cure their ballot, how do you know to count if it's been de-anonymized, or do you just keep it with the envelope until
So
they
we
come?
don't open the envelope until the signature has been verified.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
if the challenge ballots stay in their ballot return envelope until it can go to the next step.
Okay.
Yeah, they stay in red trays till we can move them forward.
Makes
So
sense.
that's a good question.
Inviting people to come and watch the process. What is the maximum number of people that are allowed there? I've been there during the election and it was quite crowded and I thought, what's the capacity of this space?
Yeah, so it's posted and it's either 12 or 15.
Okay, so it's not a huge.
No, it's not. It's a corridor.
Yes.
And we do tours as well, and so we have to limit our tour size to about 15 folks too. And so like last fall, we did tours for the Scouts and for Blackstone, high school students, and then we have a community college journalism class in. And so whenever more than that many folks are there to observe, we cycle people through. In about 15-20 minute increments, and then they leave the space and then come back. Most elections, we have 0 people observing at any one time, but we love to have our observers. Yes.
So you said the lanyards match people's political affiliation, those for the employees. Do you have to be a registered voter to work there, or do you have no political affiliation?
You don't, and there's the cover if you're unaffiliated. In fact, about 40% of Oregonians are unaffiliated who are registered to vote, myself included, so.
Okay, but if you're not registered at all, can you?
You can, yeah. Yes.
That's probably an obscure question, but I've always wondered, when there's only one person on the ballot, is there a minimum number of votes, or do they automatically get it?
So if there's just one person on the ballot, so the city council position that's on the ballot right now, there isn't a minimum number of votes. Of course, people write in candidates. The only time there's a minimum number of votes is for the party PCP elections. And so you have to have at least 3 people vote for you to be a precinct committee person or PCP in order for you to win that election. And as well as if there's only 6 positions available and there's 7 people running, you have to be one of the top 6. But that's the only time there's a minimum number of votes.
So then I was just gonna comment that, that the whole thing about matching signatures. I had, have my ballot challenge, it's been a while back. I had a broken finger. And so I thought myself pretty good, but it was interesting, so I was impressed actually that they caught it. I had to go in and say, yeah, well, fingers not looking so good.
And sometimes that happens, and we do have what's called an attestation form. If your signature is going to change because of a disability, you can fill that out. We have people that, I have someone who has said, okay, my signature is going to be a happy face stamp. And so they filled out the attestation form, put the happy face stamp, filled out their voter registration card with the happy face stamp, and now whenever they vote, they have a happy face stamp saying that's me, I voted my ballot. There's attestation to that, and so even though they have a disability where their handwritten signature would change, they're not having their ballot challenged every election.
Are you confirming a person's eligibility to vote?
Yeah, so whenever you fill out your voter registration card, you attest that you're eligible to vote. So the top 2 questions are, you at least 16 years old and are you a citizen of the US? So then you attest to that upon penalty of crime. And then we match that information up with the last four of your social security card number or your driver's license number, verifying the form that you filled out, you're saying you are who you say you are. If it doesn't match, Oregon is an attestation state, meaning I'm eligible to vote because I've attested that I am. So you'd be eligible to vote in Oregon elections, but you wouldn't be eligible to vote in federal elections, which has additional requirements that require that match the social security card number and or the driver's license number. And we have probably 5 or 6 voters in Oregon that haven't met that federal requirement, matching their social security. In Oregon, I think in Clackamas County, but haven't matched that last 4 social security number or the driver's license. And before every federal election, we're required to send a letter to them saying you have not met the requirements. If you don't meet the requirements, your ballot is not going to have federal contest on it. So yeah, it's a pretty detailed process. Yes.
Kind of following up on that, there was a lot of stuff in the news last year, or earlier this year, on the same thing with ballots. I don't know how quite how to ask this, but I'm going to ask you. Has Clackamas County verified their registered voters, basically?
So, are you talking about the automatic voter registration process? Not.
All I know is that there was a question as to whether everybody was eligible to vote. State of Oregon, Secretary of State said, oh yeah, we're all great, and then they were sued and they found that, oh yeah, well, we do have, I don't remember how it was, 1,000, 1,500 or whatever it was, that, oh yeah, well, they're not quite right. And so then they had a follow-up question shortly thereafter, oh, we checked all of the registration story. Oh, no, we don't need to, because we're sure they're safe. Is Clackamas County verified?
So to clarify, but the state wasn't sued, the DMV discovered that their process for verifying citizenship had holes in it. And so whenever they verified citizenship, they sent on that information to the Secretary of State's office through the automatic voter registration process. So some voters who didn't show citizenship at the DMV were automatically registered through no act of their own. We have gotten, oh gosh, probably less than 20 of those notices for all of our voters. Some of those folks were citizens and had already demonstrated citizenship through the process I just described. Others had not, and so they were made inactive. And we haven't, I don't think we've yet had someone who wasn't a citizen. We haven't had someone who wasn't a citizen that then voted. And so all of those through that DMV process, we do that. But no, we haven't individually asked every voter in Clackamas County for proof of citizenship.
So we have technically haven't been verified.
So Oregon is an attestation state, so whenever you fill out that voter registration card, you're attesting that you're a citizen of the US. Like, I don't know how, did you register to vote through the DMV or did you fill out the voter registration card?
Well, I couldn't tell you, it's been too long.
Okay.
No,
You probably filled out the voter registration card and then you said, I'm eligible. I'm a citizen of the US, and then we looked to see that your driver's license number and or your social security card matched.
So they technically haven't been on to the.
They have and continue to do so, but again, there isn't a way for me to contact every voter in Clackamas County and ask them to come in and show me their proof of citizenship.
If they would be a DMV issue as well, go back and.
The DMV changed their practices so that those errors wouldn't come through anymore.
Okay. Well, a follow-up question, my other question. The overvotes, I understood that we had several counties that were, and I can't, and don't quote me on the numbers, but it seemed like it was 107% or something. Votes over what the registered number of voters in Virginia County were.
That's not what an overvote is, and we don't have more registered voters than there are eligible voters in the counties. So I'm not sure where this information is coming from, but I'd love for you to send it to me and I.
We're having, yeah, I'll go back and research it, yeah, we're having more people vote than we're registered.
Yeah.
Counties.
That's not possible though. Do you have to be registered to vote in order to vote?
That turnout was like 80%, I think, in the last election, or 75% in the presidential, it's definitely not 100%. That'd be cool, but it
It'd
wasn't.
be close, it'd be great, but it's closer to 90.
Are you pretty sure it's Oregon? Because there's two stories out there right now. One's Florida and one's another state where there
Well,
was.
this has been,
Yeah,
10 months or a year anyways.
yeah. So,
No, I'd be happy to take a look at it. Share with you.
Okay.
See what we're talking about. So yeah, so we also are focused on involving the community and having everyone participate in local government. And whether that be through voting, through your CPO, through sharing your voice at meetings, running for office. And we work, myself and my staff, to go into community and do outreach. To different communities, different populations. One of our successful partnerships has been with Clackamas Workforce at their expungement clinics that they have once a month. So if you have a felony on your record after a certain period of time, you can have your record expunged, and then you're more likely to be able to rent a home, get a job, be a more productive part of the community. And part of that is making sure that everyone who has had a felony, who has done their time, knows that they're eligible to re-register to vote and to vote. And so that's been one of the partnerships that we've enjoyed. If you want to go to the next slide. And we also do this through communication. Our voters pamphlet goes to every residential household in the county, especially or the area that's having an election. We have just redesigned our ballot envelopes so that you can easily tell that's an official election mail. There's the logo on it, but then also the size and the shape. And then this is just our Diversity and Democracy College program, which is hiring college students to be election workers, because we have a succession problem, like many in public service, where we have people retiring and not enough young people then coming into the profession. If you want to go to the next slide. Again, I urge you to sign up for Track Your Ballot, register to vote, or update your information at OregonVotes.gov anytime that you change your address. If you want to change your political affiliation, if your name changes. Ultimately, it's up to the voter to make sure that their registration record is up to date, so we can make sure that we can get your ballot to you. If you move, we can't forward your ballot to you because your ballot may be different where you live, because where you live determines what's on your ballot. And so ballots aren't forwardable in the mail. So you want to make sure you update with us. And then again, I invite you all to come visit us, so you can see firsthand how it works. And then maybe you can see if you want to apply to be an election worker next year, because we do 150 people for each of our large elections to conduct it and make sure it goes well and as planned. I want to thank you for your time today. I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you have. Yes.
On the topic of ranked choice voting, is the county election infrastructure prepared for that? And if not, is that something you can prepare preemptively, or would you need to wait until it was relevant?
Yeah, so ranked choice voting requires a different ballot system than what we have. And we do ranked choice voting in Clackamas County. We have about 650 voters that live in the city of Portland that also live in Clackamas County. And so we work in partnership with Multnomah and Washington County to conduct ranked choice voting elections for our city of Portland voters. What that means, because we don't have the capacity to do ranked choice voting with our systems in Clackamas County, is Multnomah County is our primary county, the primary jurisdiction. And they design the ballots, we approve them, we send them to the voters, the ranked choice voting ballots with the traditional ballot, we verify the signature. And then once it's been removed from that envelope and it's available, ready for counting, we then take those securely up to Multnomah County for processing. Unlike traditional voting, ranked choice voting requires that central count. So for every jurisdiction that decides to do ranked choice voting, the count can only happen in one county or at one level. But at this point, we don't have the capacity to do ranked choice voting. For another jurisdiction to, do it on our own. If a different jurisdiction decided that they wanted to do ranked choice voting, either by a vote of the people or by council or that jurisdiction, then we would have to change our processes and then be able to make that happen, because we do follow every state, local, and federal law. It would be an interesting challenge.
And fun to watch, for sure, everyone who comes in and observes you.
Is there anyone online that had a question they wanted to ask? Either raise your hand or do the.
I'm sorry, but the connection was choppy.
That was.
Well, thank you very much for coming and sharing your wisdom with us, and you probably all learned some things, and it was really helpful. So thank you for being generous with your time.
Again, dress up Halloween, come see us, watch us process ballots in your costume.
And you did a little advertisement for how nice weddings are, so if you know any.
Yeah. I think we're booked through mid-November at this point, but yes.
Well, thank you.
Well, I did have one little quick, sorry, I held it from the very beginning, said your budget was 6.16 million. Where does the money go if you only have 21 employees? So and even if you're 100 to 150.
Yeah, I mean,
part-timers, it's still a lot of money from your grade on 60.
our budget is one of the smallest in the county. I think we're, the only budget that's smaller than ours is the treasurer's office. So we're really lean, but yeah, I'd be happy to go over it with you.
I'm just curious, seemed like $6 million for 21 employees is kind of.
Yeah, well, with the two facilities, we have all of that equipment that we talked about. But yeah, I'd be happy to send you that information. It's also available online.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here. Well, moving on our agenda, the next thing that we have is for land use application to review. Joseph is not here tonight. He told me he was running late. He would try to get here, but he didn't really have a report tonight. And then Jim, do you go by Jim or James?
Jim's fine.
Jim Friedman, and Mike will have information that they would like to follow up with us around the issue that they presented last meeting around the shed that got crushed by a 100-year-old tree.
The comment that you had from the agenda for the meeting notes last meeting, that to a formal letter for us to take it to the planning commission. We brought in a non-conforming filing for the shed, and so now we've got an extended period of time to gather all this data, and we've got hundreds and hundreds of hours. I've gone to the county offices for aerials. I've gone to the taxes to try to get taxes back for that time. I've gone to the builder back in 60 that built the shed, and he's in a rest home and his wife. They're not responding to us. The University of Oregon, the aerials I have back in the 64, 68, it shows the street, and it really wasn't even a street then. It wasn't even paved when they built this shed. And so again, I'm just going with the county planner to get their non-conforming to our code, because it is on the property line, the exact same spot the old shed was on, but because the code had changed, they would want us to tear down this $40,000 shed and move it 20 feet into our yard. And so that's why we're going through the county and going through that.
Which we have aerial views of the street itself. And the street itself, if you draw a line, there's 4 other buildings owned by other people that are on that same line or farther out than my shed. So it's not making any sense why a building that's there is in that same position would need to be torn down. But with that said, we have all the information. It's a beautiful building. We provided information, and we just love the support of the council Because that would be able to be able to have us move forward for the non-conforming permit, so.
Bob, you have a,
Yeah, I, after you guys were here last month, I took the drive by like the next day or two and look, beautiful, your yard's pretty cool, looks pretty. My wife was with me and she was impressed. The yard looked really good, it was fixed up well, and versus that, I don't see a problem. I mean, that's a narrow path of a street to begin with.
Yep.
That you're really not out obstructing anything.
We got, as your advice, we went around to all our neighbors and we got, letters of support for, all the neighbors around us. And so that's always nice. So, like I said, I just think having you guys to support would, just be one extra step, and that's what we were looking for.
so I think the way it stands right now, I mean, for all of us to kind of, have it on. This is not a shed that they decided to tear down so that they can build a fancy new one. A tree fell on it. This is like the act of God destroyed their shed. And then they built that on the fence. So it seems reasonable to write a letter of support for that. So I would be willing to take a motion from the floor.
Somebody's wanting.
You have to have a motion.
Yes, I will move that we write a letter of support for the gentleman.
I'll second that.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
2 seconds.
And I would just mention, I think what we are saying is that, if I'm hearing this correctly, that you're asking for a variance from the non-conforming approval. And based on the conditions that you guys have gone through. We're not saying forget the code, never follow the code, right? It's saying that we're encouraging the county to agree to a non-conforming, whatever the next level is.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion, comments?
The neighbors are all on board.
You have 10, 12. Yeah.
And the street only services 4 houses up the street. It's not a thoroughfare by any means, it's a dead end street. And to us, it's in the pictures of the old shed and the new shed.
It shows exactly
where it's at.
All right, can we, okay, vote?
Yeah.
All those that are in favor? They're, online.
So online folks, if you're in favor, please raise your hand.
If you're a voting member.
If you're a voting member, raise your hand. If you're in favor of us writing a letter of support.
Get physical hand or virtual hand.
Are there any people who do not wish for us to write a letter of support? Are there any abstentions? Okay,
We have less than 25.
if we're less than 25, then we will have to write down everyone's name about that when we do attendance, so that we can have everyone. Thank you.
The secretary will help.
And Jim's I will call Joseph tomorrow. And when I write that letter, I will get his assistance because he's the code guy.
Yeah.
And he can write it in language that the code people will understand. I just want to say.
I like that.
Next step will be the code enforcement officer.
Well, thank you
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
for coming down.
I sweat on you.
So I'll move. Hmm? Ben, I have you on the agenda.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I do have 2 other things.
Oh, okay.
Real quick.
All right.
First one is, yeah, I still have the dog park going in next door to me. Haven't seen or heard from anybody, but it's not going to happen. Roseville hasn't got the idea yet, but yeah, it's not going in. The other thing is I got a notice in the mail today from Clackamas County, zone planning, that Roseville has applied for a zoning change to their property on the corner of Torbank and River Road. They've currently got their garages. At one time, their resale shop was in that little part. It's like an employee parking lot with some garages, and I've been a couple of duplexes. Evidently, they're one from R10, low density to high density. So evidently gonna put in another little apartment bunker or something. So anyway, that just came today, and so we're really hearings will be in the end of November, I think.
Okay. As of talking to Joseph today, didn't have anything to bring up tonight, but he may have not opened
We
it.
just got it 3 o'clock this afternoon.
All right. So we'll,
In the mail.
on notice that it looks like, the both Rose Villa and Willamette View are jumping over.
They've been buying properties, so they can't buy on my side, so they buy on the other side, so.
No, on my side. Okay,
They've been buying the other side of River Road for a long time.
good, all right, thank you. All right, Ben, would you like to talk about the favorite places vote that happened at?
Yeah, this is a brief follow-up to the previous summary about the Oak Grove Festival. There was a voting activity during the course of that festival. It was much less professionally managed than any of the votings that you've heard of, any of the other elections that you've heard of. I wouldn't be able to say first signature verification. Very, just a real slipshod, organization there for me, but the results are in. And we have distributed the certificates that you'll see here to the community locations, so keep an eye out for those as you're going around places, or maybe give them a visit after you hear it now and mention that that you're from the council, so, favorite places. Favorite bar, starting with the first category, most important, favorite bar, winner is McQueen's Bar and Grill. Yes, very good. Next category, favorite entertainment spot, the winner is Oak Grove 8 Cinema. Movies always important, love them. Favorite parks, a couple strong contenders here, so there's more than one. We want to be pretty, pretty celebratory in these, so there were the requirements involved having more than one vote, so it was a community kind of thing, but there didn't necessarily need to be just one winner, is what I'm saying. Riverville Park, one of the favorite parks, Risley Park, and I think there's a third one, nope, those two, okay, top two tied, Riverville Park and Risley Park. Next category, favorite restaurants, the winners were J&R Mexican Food, perennial favorite, I believe also reigning champion from last year. Rigoberto's Taco Shop.
Saw their son last night, I was just right there.
Excellent, that's what we want that visibility. Milwaukee Pizza Company, a relatively new entry into the neighborhood.
They got one last year.
Very nice, well, they're doing every year, it's perfect. Favorite stores? Trader Joe's, that was in this year, I'm fairly confident. Creature Comforts.
They got one.
Very nice, and Seed Soil Bloom.
Which has since gone out of business.
Yes, but not because it was awarded. Yes. And the favorite coffee shops, very important as well. Gotta get the balancing out those bars. Top two here, Awakening Coffee and Black Rock Coffee Bar. Actually, sorry, there's three. And Blue Jays at the local coffee company. So 3 winners there. Coffee, the most important, apparently, of all the options. And last but not least, the favorite street, this one might be a little controversial, I know. The trolley trail comes in. So, there we go. And that is the loop, so next time you're at any of those places, you can, I don't know, say, good job. Good job.
I don't know if I said this last time, when I got the privilege of distributing those to the different places, and the businesses are really excited about it, so they were all very positive, and so it's always kind of fun to take it to them, and they're all excited about
That's all I have.
it. Well, wanted to do a quick report on the part of the community campaign fundraiser kickoff that was on the 11th. And I see many people here tonight who were there, and as of this point, we have about $14,000 has been raised towards the drop-in program, drop-in program open. Our goal, of course, is closer to $100,000, so that we keep moving on that, and we will be out talking to the neighborhood. And there is information on the back table with envelopes. If people would like to mail in, there's also flyers that have, information about how people can give money online. Fancy is a QR code as well as just the website and an mailing address. Encourage people, if you know people that you want to encourage to donate, please pick flyer out and take it to them. I think it was a fun event, so. We're there. Mark, anything you want to say about it?
Well, I was going to say it was the very first official event at our new community center. So that was.
And maybe the best part of all of it was it the feel of community.
Yeah.
Being in the buildings, so that's fine. And anybody else that was there that has anything they want to say about it?
Did you make a pitch to the people that were at the one on the 18th?
On the 18th, just at our booth.
Just at the booth?
But not in any of the speeches or anything, no.
Well, I would hope that there would be some information sharing, let's say, about that, because a lot of times people will make a small gift, and a lot of small gifts can amount to a fair piece of change too. And if you tell them what it's for, I think that it really is fairly powerful.
Yeah.
Well, and now that it's open, and which is the second thing on I'm gonna turn this over to Mark to talk about the grand opening, but it is open now, and because the drop-in program is open, you could drop in any day of the week between 9 and 1 during the weekdays. And go in and look at the community center and see what's there, so, yeah. Mark, you wanna talk about the grand opening?
Yeah, so the grand opening last Saturday, the Parks District was hoping to have about 600 people show up. And they had someone there counting everybody, not as well as you do.
But they attested.
They attested it to the number, yes. And they counted over 2,200 folks who came that day. A lot of children, a lot of parents that came, and young and old. I think they were there for both the park, the library, and the community center, all of them together. So it was a very fun day. I think it was gorgeous weather, didn't rain, which is a good thing. And everybody got to see all the facilities that are there. I do have to correct that the community center does not open until the second week of November.
Oh.
It's still closed, and we'll be opening later in November. They're just not ready to open yet.
Okay.
So I learned that after I told everybody it was gonna be 40.
But the park and the library.
Park and library are open, that's right.
What's the date in November?
I'm not sure, there is a date, but I don't recall what it is, and I want to tell you the date, but it is in a couple of weeks into November.
Okay.
It's a double-digit numbers, that's all I can tell you.
It's not NCPRD's website here.
Somewhere, yes.
There
There's an event there called the Boo Bash, which is happening this Saturday. And it's being announced on Facebook and other places. I think as far as the part of the community campaign, we're hoping we'll have a little thing up on the wall that shows the thermometer and shows how we're doing, and have information on it, and then place a box where you can actually make a donation or or have a barcode where you can do it on your phone, the same ways we're doing it now. So, the group is already thinking about other events that are coming up in the future that we might have to bring the community together again, and also to have a little fundraising effort for it. One of the little ideas that we were running around was, if you're in the park, there's a turtle, and there's an owl, and there's a little acorn. Well, they don't have a name. So I've been suggesting to the Parks District that they have a little contest to name them. And one way we could do that is put $1 in a little thing in for your vote, right? Whoever gets the most dollars wins, right? So I don't have to work, but anyway, just another way, but we should name those folks, don't you think? I have some ideas myself, but those guys should have names. So I think that's about it, I think, yes.
Is there any talk amongst the council's board of ever having the Oakland Community Council meetings in?
Yes.
We're literally talking about that.
Next year.
Couldn't happen soon enough.
Yeah, this room is really hard to hear in. I mean, we're all really conscious of the fact. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely room, but the ceiling's really high, so it.
I'm curious, is the sound better for people online now?
Yeah, what do you think, Greg? How's it sound?
No one's answering.
Got a quiet crowd tonight.
It's like really good to hear, Greg.
It's not hard.
I think in some ways they can hear better than we can. So depending on the way people are projecting, and people are closer tonight than they have in some nights, so we keep trying to configure the room, and as they were coming in, somebody said, well, how do we set up the room? And it's like, well, it depends on what we find when we get into this room, because tables are always in different places, but this configuration seems like it works.
Yeah, it was
really
really
well.
bad last time.
Yeah, it was hard.
Better.
The other event that's in our area is the trunk or tree. Do you want to mention that?
Yeah, I think that's Thursday, October 30th. I believe it's at 3 p.m. So it's before it gets dark. And it's on Oak Grove Boulevard between Rupert and Rista. Previous years, we've had over 1,000 children show up, so it's usually pretty well attended.
But we don't have a booth this.
Oh, that's right. We do not have a booth, although we were wondering if anyone wanted to volunteer to man a booth for the community council, if you felt so inclined. That involves having a car, open your trunk, decorate it, have a bunch of candy to give out. And I'm just not able to do that this year myself. So if there's anyone interested, you can come and.
We could front for the candy, but I can't,
Not have any bodies.
Unfortunately, we didn't know there was gonna be a scheduling conflict until.
You can borrow my truck, Mark, if you want. I would if I was here.
Well, if anybody thinks of something, get in touch with us. Are there any other announcements or from floor or public comment or?
Is Marianne still online?
Marilyn? Didn't see Marianne, was she?
Yeah, no, Marianne, who wants to maybe live at Roseville.
Oh,
Oh, that right. Marianne, are you the Marianne that came to the last meeting? Is this your second meeting?
Marilyn, I think.
Is it Marilyn?
Maryland's down there.
It's Marianne.
It's Marianne.
I'm Marianne, but no, this is not, this is the first time I've observed. I'm not actually living in your community yet. I'm considering it, yes.
Visiting, thank you.
The question is, because You know, we have people that come and the only thing we see on their, online presence is first name.
Yeah.
Then we don't know who they are, and
And
they're trying to track them as, you know, if you're trying to find all the Mary Ann's who live in.
Yes. Let's stand up.
Right. Well, if there is no further business, I see no reason to prolong our meeting. So with that, we'll adjourn.
See y'all next month.
It's so dark.